Hey guys, how's everybody doing today? Well, I am continuing on with my Axes Back series, and as you can tell, I've got a little bit more than an axe involved with this. Um, I'm not going to spotlight all these restorations in this video series. I am going to focus just on the axe, but a couple of people asked me, and I wanted to take a quick second to kind of go over what else I'm doing as I'm doing the axe. I've got a ton of tools around here from my father, my grandfather, and on back. Some of these things are over 100 years old. And when I started working with that Evapo-Rust, I was just astounded as how well it worked. So I decided I wanted to take some of these other tools and kind of restore them. Now, I'm not trying to get museum quality showroom stuff out of here. I'm just trying to clean all the pitting and rust everything off of them, get them kind of halfway polished, because I still use these. I'm not looking to hang these things up and display them in a museum. I want to use these things, and this is one example. I got an old draw knife and took this in here. This thing was pitted up relatively bad, and this whole edge, everything was just all terrible. So I took it and put it in the Evapo-Rust, and you could see how it came out. Took a block and some sandpaper and a file, and I got this relatively flat. It's very, very, very flat compared to what it used to be. And I'm probably going to do some unique things like the hardware that came out. These bolts, I can polish those up, but it had two different nuts on here holding it together, and that really kind of annoys me. So I think what I'm going to do, since I want them to match, I'm probably going to take these and put them in a baggie and label them, put them off to the side, replace them with brass. I'm going to polish these off. This handle's chipped right here, and I think I'm going to turn some new handles for those. I'll probably just show you the completed job when it's done. If you've been watching my channel, or you saw one of my last videos, you saw that I just had a bunch of black walnut milled down for use. I've got a ton of it, and I'm definitely going to use a lot of it for knife scales, some ferro rod handles, and I've got plenty left over, so I think I might just go ahead and turn these out of the black walnut as well. I've been playing around with turning, and pretty happy with the results so far. So that's the spoke shape, that's the draw knife, and I'll be jumping on that one as well. I'll show you the finished product when it's done. An old hammer. I'm not going to go any further with this thing. I just got all the rust off. It's a 3-pound sledge, and the handle's rotten off on it, so I'm going to go ahead and pop that off and put a new handle on it. Nothing major there. So I'm going to just take this, not even going to mess with the mushrooming. I think I'm just going to polish it up on the wire wheel just a little bit. Again, this is not something that requires a razor sharp edge, as you can tell. Let's hold it up for you. So you can see right there. Just going to polish it, clean it, put a new handle on it, call this one done. One of the other old tools that I got was this one right here, and I'm not going to tell anybody what this is. I want to see how experienced you guys are. If anybody knows what this is, please tell me. I know what it is. I want to see if you do. And I'll tell you what, we'll make it a contest. Everybody who gives me a correct answer as to what this is, I will put their names in a hat, and I will draw, do a drawing for, I don't know, something neat. Maybe ferro rod or something like that. I don't know, something neat. Just let me see how many people know what this is. Put it in the comments below, and I'll do it for 1 week. So this is Sunday, so we'll do it from next Sunday, which I think will be August 1st or something. First Sunday in August. I don't know the date right off the top of my head. But I'm going to polish this up a little bit. Not going to go too crazy with shining. I just want to get the rest of the rust and pitting off, treat it with a little WD-40, and call it done. Last but not least, as far as the old tools are concerned, I have This is I'm excited about this one. This is an old plane. It's as you can tell right here, it says Bailey on it, made in the USA. It's a Stanley, but it's a Bailey plane. I don't know a whole lot about this. All I know is that when I got it, it was completely covered in pitted and rust, and it came out fantastic. I'm just going to take and clean it up a little bit more, hit it down again with some protect it with some WD-40, I'm not going to go turn this into some museum piece like you know, you see other people do. I'm just happy with this thing being restored and clean and preserved for another, you know, 100 years. I went through and got all the hardware taken care of, washers and everything, all the little bits and bobs that go on it, and really just get this thing ready for use. I'm not really big on decoration. I like to be able to use the stuff that's out there. You know, these things were meant to be used and they were meant to last. That's what I think they're for. You know, there's nothing in here that's extremely delicate that, you know, requires a baby's touch and the white gloves and all that type of stuff. So, you know, I just want to get these things cleaned. I want to get them preserved. I want my children to be able to have these when they get older and maybe pass them on, maybe use them, you know, to make some furniture or something. So next we've got the heads. These are the 3 axe heads that I'm working on. Little hatchet. Just going to polish that up a little bit. I think the handle's okay. You know, it's a little bit beat up, but I'm not, again, this is something I'm just going to use around the workshop. So I'm just going to clean it off, oil it up real good, clean off the handle, and call that one done. But these 2 heads that I got, I really want to take the time to get those right. I cleaned off the top of these pretty well, and I used something. I'm going to show you guys in a few minutes how I got it a little bit further. It started out looking like this one, and I got it close to this. Not finished with it, but started working on it. Essentially, what I did was, once I got these, I used the grinder to get some of the mushrooming off here. It wasn't bad, so I wasn't too worried about it. What I did to get it this far, and again, I'm not done. I'm going to keep doing some more. I just wanted to show you guys, was I used an orbital sander. And before anybody starts bashing me in the comments and going nuts and start saying you can't do this, you're going to mess with the temper and all this other stuff, and, you know, give me hundreds of years of experience, I'm going to interject something in here. My family's been in the automotive business for 70 years. I was born and raised in a garage. I was working in there when I was in my early teens, all the way up until my late 20s before I went out and joined the ranks of corporate America. Spent many, many years working in a garage. And the tools that we use in there, one of the biggest concerns that we have when working on automobiles, on the bodies and the sanding and stuff, is warping the metal from overgenerating heat while we're sanding, which is why the tools we use are built for the job. Now, you're going to look at an orbital sander, and the first thing you're going to say is, oh, this, you know, it's just like the ones they have at Lowe's and Home Depot. It's not. This is an air tool. Part of being an air tool is I can adjust the pressure and turn this thing down really, really slow so that the RPMs don't generate a whole lot of heat. It's the movement that the machine does that makes it so effective in sanding and cleaning this stuff off. Additionally, if this metal is still ice cold after lukewarm, room temperature warm, while I'm sanding it, I'm telling you, you're not going to mess with the temper. I've been sanding on metal for many, 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 many years. Now, does that mean I think if you see me do this, you should run out to Home Depot, get yourself an orbital sander, and start grinding? I would say no, because I don't mess with those sanders. I don't know if they have the level of adjustment. Now, they may have a low, medium, and high because they're electric motors, but these sanders have a dial. I could spin and choose this dial down to so slow that it won't even have the energy to turn itself. I can go up so high it would blow one of those electric ones right out of the water as far as performance is concerned. So by being able to dial in the speed of this thing low enough to not generate too much friction so that I can control how warm and hot this gets, and being able to get the effectiveness of the way this thing turns, I'm able to produce what I consider to be a fairly good result as far as getting this axe heads ready. Now, again, these are my first axe heads that I've ever done any kind of restoration on, so I'm not going to go in and try to get some magnificent polish on these things and make these things, you know, mirror shined. I think it's fantastic, and it's a very, very, very beautiful finish, and probably very durable finish when all is said and done. But my intent is to hang one of these axes up in the shop and use the other one. They're heavy, they're large. I'll say this: there's a small part of me that's considering giving one of these axe heads away as a gift for some type of a contest. I don't know yet. I haven't really decided. I've got 2 of them. They're exactly the same. So who knows what I'll do. But For right now, I want to try to get it finished. I want to try to get it relatively clean. I want to get a decent finish on it. Again, I'm not looking for. I don't want to be able to use this thing to uh, brush my hair with. And if you know me, you're laughing right now because I don't have any hair. But you understand what I'm saying. I'm not looking for a mirror finish on here. I'm looking for a nice, solid, durable, clean, pretty finish. Something I can take out in the woods. Something I can hack some trees with, and really work on my axe skills. So sit tight. We're gonna do a little grinding on this thing and see if we can't finish getting this thing into pretty decent shape. So I'll be right back, guys. Now, see, personally, I like this. I think this is coming along perfect. Starting out from after I took it out of the dip, the evapor rust, sanding it, polishing it, getting it perfect, this is coming along just fine. I'll probably hit this with the wire wheel some, just to get some of these harder areas out that are kind of pitting just a little bit. But at the end of the day, this is as far as I really want to go. I like the patina on an axe, but and this axe does have some pretty, over here is fine, obviously, but over here it's got some pretty heavy hits. Somebody's hit this thing with a hammer, and I just don't want to take too much steel off of here. I just wanted to get it down to where it was, pretty much respectable. So I'm going to hit this with the wire wheel some. I might mess with it a little bit more. I did start out with 120 on the DA, but, I probably could have gone with 80. I just didn't have any 80 here to do it. And like I said, you work with that RPMs on those things, you're not going to generate any heat. This thing never got warm to the touch. It just wasn't generating enough speed to do it. And somebody out there is going to flip out and say, oh, I saw a spark. Yes, when you pull metal off, that little tiny piece of metal is hot. That's what's flying off. The metal here that's on here, there's way too much steel here, way too much conductivity happening in the heat, so that this thing is dissipating heat just like a huge heat sink would work on your computer or any of your other electronics devices. This never got hot. You saw me touch it a few times, making sure it never got any hotter than what I was touching right here. Again, I don't recommend that if you've never done it before and you don't understand, and are not comfortable being able to judge the RPMs based on how fast it's moving, what kind of steel you're working with. If you don't understand it, then don't do it. Do it by hand. But if you've got it, if you think you want to give it a shot, go ahead. These things are pretty big. Really, you got to pay more attention here because the metal's thinner than you do back here on the pole where it's a lot thicker. But even still, when you're working in this area right here, there's a lot of steel here to help dissipate that heat. So again, I wasn't going to sit here and grind and take it up to 400. I probably could have. I just don't want to put that type of effort in here. This is the first one that I'm doing. I'm going to take everything I learned from this one and apply it to this one, and hopefully this one will come out better. There's a lot less damage here, so I want to do more of a finished. I want to do a prettier finish on this one. There's a lot less damage to this head to contend with than there was on this one. I took the worst one out of the bunch, and I'm just going to try to make it look nice, put a good handle on it, hang it up on the wall, use it when I go out, do a little bushcrafting, and pretty much call it a day. Alright guys, well, just to give you a quick heads up, there was a couple of bad spots that my OCD just wouldn't let go, so I did hit a few areas with my angle grinder with one of these abrasive pads on it. I was careful to keep it cool, made sure that I did it on top of a wet rag, and I just made sure it stayed cool. It didn't generate any heat. I was extremely cognizant of the temperature the whole time, so I know I didn't mess with the temper. But I wanted to do a quick before and after. This is what we started with after the bath in the Evapor-Rust, and that's what we ended up with. One thing about those orbital sanders is they do give you these funky little swirl marks. I will tell you, they'll polish right up really, really good. But mainly what I'm happy with is getting rid of most of, I would say 85 to 90% of the little dents and dings that some schmuck, put on this thing with a hammer. This came out really good. Of course, it's the bottom, so it had the least amount of damage. There's a few little areas right there that you can see that I'm not taking that much steel off. A couple of deep gouges in the back right here, but compared to what it started out with, that is, to me, very acceptable. The edges are nice and square. I mean, not, ferro rod striking square, but, they're cleaner. There's no mushrooming here. Do have to work on the edge. That's the next thing. I'm probably going to take and polish it for a little bit and just see if I can get some of the swirl marks out. Again, I'm not trying to put a mirror finish on this thing, but it'll probably end up with some level of shine to it. And then when it's all said and done, I am going to take a Scotch-Brite pad and put a satin finish on it. Just I like the shiny chrome finish. Just don't want one on this one because it's very rough. This one's a lot better shape. I might actually try to make that one purdy. So that's about it for this episode, guys. Next time you see it, it's just going to have, after I hit it with the wire wheel a few times, clean it up. I'm going to go out and select a handle for it, and we're going to try to hang this thing. Appreciate you sticking around. Don't forget to like and subscribe. All my links are down below if you want to follow me on Facebook, Twitter. Check out the adventure blog on my website. Pop on over and see what kind of new stuff I've got going on over there. And I'll probably have a video in a couple of days spotlighting a few things that I've created. I've got some really cool ferro rods handles that I've put together I want to show you guys. And outside of that, you all have a great weekend. Enjoy your day, and I'll see you in the woods. Inside